Hey, how's it going out there, folks? Welcome back here to a Tuesday. It is Christmas Eve out here, 12:12 p.m. California time. Latest activity here on this Earthquake 3D globe shows a little small microquake there hiding in the green flag across Southern California. Also a 2.8 there in the mix of earthquake activity. So let's go ahead and check out the West Coast, see what's going on out here on this beautiful sunshiny day right now. But we picked up just about an inch of rain overnight and this morning so far from our last storm system. Man, I'm loving it. Everything's starting to turn green out here, and we got more rain on the way here for California. There's that 2.8 outside the Dana Point region off the coast of Southern California. Looks like that's coming in about 2.7 miles deep there for that quake. Prior to that, a 3.4 earthquake a little bit further down the coastline here this morning in the Baja California region. So getting a little bit of adjustment here across the Southern California area here today so far. We'll continue to keep an eye on potential larger movement as it's still lingering out there. You know, that threat for the larger earthquake potential will not go away until after the fact, so to speak. A couple earthquakes here on each side of the plate boundary as well in the last hour. Got a little 1.2 on the Pacific side, and the latest here, 1.6. So things are working its way, looks like northward here and towards the southern branch of the San Andreas Fault, with that latest quake there being off the San Bernardino Mountains. Further up north here, still getting some swarming going on across Nevada, out around the Goldfield area of Nevada. This region had a pretty decent swarm here a couple months back, if you remember, about the same time period where we were seeing some fours out here, even that five-pointer outside of Bakersfield. Western Nevada was swarming quite nicely. So we're starting to swarm out here in western Nevada. It has been in the last couple days around the, obviously where that 5.7 struck. South of Tonopah, a little bit of movement outside of Las Vegas as well in the last week. That shows up quite nicely on the last 7 days here of all magnitudes. So, you know, with that, you got to remember here a couple months ago, during the elevated activity here in Southern California, along with the swarms here in western Nevada, it was just an overall sign here of, you know, the strain out against the plate boundary. So right now, more elevated activity across western Nevada compared to Southern California, but that looks like it could be filling in here. We'll have to watch that. This inland activity, obviously a major sign of stress out here against the plate boundary. So we'll continue to keep an eye on the west coast, northern California here. Two earthquakes from yesterday. It looks like one more after 2 o'clock in the morning now. There may have been some more, but not being reported. A couple small spikes there on the Petrolia station. Those are extremely small. Probably a, who knows what, a little 0.2 or a 0.3. Not 3, but 0.3. Showing up there on the seismograph stations. But nothing big across that area for now. Through Yellowstone National Park, Idaho area, pretty quiet up there. Nothing spectacular going on, but I do want to double check. We'll open up another window here and check out the overview of Yellowstone, and it looks pretty quiet. Might be some environmental noise out there, whether it's due to blowing wind, blowing snow, blowing wind. Well, I hope the wind would be blowing, right? You know, sometimes snow, ice buildup can show up on these seismograph stations, but right now there's not a whole lot of earthquake activity showing up there across the board in Yellowstone. Texas area and the oil fields. A couple more earthquakes this morning. Looks like some ones. The latest at 2.3 outside of Mentone. And that sits outside of Pecos, Texas, out there in the oil fields in the desert out there. There's quite a bit of these oil fields. I talk about them a lot because there's a lot of earthquake activity that happens out here. Some of these may be older pumping operations that have been eroded over time throughout the desert, but if you look, there's some pumping operations here, some wastewater ponds, and it's just littered with a lot of these oil fields and fracking operations in this area of Texas. Quite a few tanks there and some water, not swimming pool water, but wastewater injection water And of course, that's where the earthquake activity is continuously occurring. Let's see, the eastern portion of the country, pretty quiet out there, it looks like. New Zealand picking up on some deeper activity here into the Hikurangi subduction zone once again. Look at that, 4.2. 8 o'clock this morning here, my time, California time. That's 136 miles deep into that subduction zone. Been saying to watch this pretty closely here. We've been noticing a handful of deeper quakes literally within the last few months. It seems like they're getting a little bit larger with some adjustment showing up here at the surface level, where we would expect the strain to be building up right across this area. The latest one of an interest here is going to be this 5.2 very shallow earthquake there at the Hikurangi subduction zone, the northern end. But got to remember, all this deeper activity underneath the North Island is associated with that subduction zone, and that's building up further stress across that area. Definitely something to watch closely there, because it's been a couple, I don't remember the exact number of years since they've seen a rupture there on the Hikurangi, but it's been quite a while. Let's see, some movement outside the Vanuatu region. Of course, that is expected. Even a more recent 4.9 in this area, where that 7-pointer struck. 7.3 struck there a couple days back, right? So aftershock activity filling in, a few days back, I should say. Damn, time's just flying by when you're having fun out here, especially when you're busy. So looking at the last 30 days of activity out here as a whole, yeah, that's a lot of activity, right? One would think, man, what's going on with the world here? Well, it's common, right? But there's other areas out here showing elevated movement compared to other regions. You know, it's a continuous process out here. Plate tectonics is. You get the subduction zones, you get a little bit of transform boundary movement here across somewhere over here, and then that can have an adverse effect across the plate boundary as a whole. It's just kind of like a jigsaw puzzle, folks. You move one piece of the puzzle, in this case, a Pacific plate, a giant piece of the puzzle. You move it a little bit, and it will adjust here or adjust there. And, of course, being adjusted up here will alter the movement of a different plate in the nearby, near the plate boundary. So it's always in motion here. 1,763 earthquakes on the board. And that's just what is being reported here for the international community. That's 4.0 and above. 2.5 and above for the states and U.S. territories. But there's, you could probably, I don't know. I mean, that's probably closer to about 10,000 earthquakes in the last 30 days if you were to include, the small microquakes and whatnot that goes on across the board here. It's always in motion, and that's a good thing. We don't want plate tectonics to die, because then our world would be a lot different. So let's see here. Anything major going on? Japan's pretty quiet right now. A couple earthquakes there from yesterday. If I had to say, an area of uptick today, obviously Southern California, inland as well, seeing some movement. And South America region, seeing some 2s and 3s out there. Also a little bit of renewed activity way up north here. North of Iceland, north of Greenland here, depending on which way you're looking at it. Just some 4s and some other earthquakes out there across the rift zones. Getting a little bit of swarming out here across the Turkey area, it looks like. Some 2s and 3s. Some larger movement, 4.3 out here across the area of the Cyprus region, south of Turkey, right on the plate boundary. Pretty recent earthquake there, it looks like. But aside from that, let's see what we got in the last 24 hours of largest magnitude. That's a little skimpy there, 4.9. Goodness. So, might be quiet for now in terms of, magnitudes and whatnot, but areas of interest here, Southern California, is starting to show a little bit of uptick. So we'll keep an eye there on that region. The Big Island of Hawaii, I believe that eruption here has come to a halt. Let's double check the latest information from the Kilauea volcano site here. There's the eruption here in the last day or last couple days. in the red. And it's still sitting at an orange and watch level with the update put out today, it looks like. Latest info. Well, this is put out yesterday, so there is no new update. See December 23rd. Let's go check out the webcams out there. See if we can see anything for ourselves. Okay, this is a little view here. Is that some fountaining going on here? Almost looks like it there, but does not look like a little bit of fountaining right here. This is where the area died off yesterday, but the main fissure area opened up right here across the rim, and then it just spewed out here the lava flow. But that almost looks like a little bit there. Let me get a little bit better view here. I don't know. That may just be the sun's angle, providing the lens flare on that previous image. Well, no. That is definitely some lava there. You guys see that? Wait, let's see here. Well, that doesn't help. But yeah, that's oh goodness, hold on, let me get off of that. Microsoft Edge wants to impose on everything here. Goodness. But yeah, that looks like it's still erupting, at least according to this image here. That's a little hard to see. They do have a webcam there on YouTube that's pointed at that area. But to me, that looks like it's still got a little eruption going on there. Latest look here at the deformation data. It was that was kind of a short-lived eruption. Last night or yesterday, there's the sharp rise in the inflation, and then of course it dwindled as the magma depleted a little bit from below, and then it started about the time it stopped. Yesterday, we started to notice a gradual rise again, which is a little odd because that was a short-lived eruption. So things are starting to build back up there, and according to that image there, it looks like things are not finished yet. There's still, what looks like some active areas out there in this region right here. Kind of hard to see, but we'll continue to watch it. Either way, a return of the filling of Lava Lake up there. That's been filling up over the past few years quite nicely. All right, let's back out of here. See what else we got. Earthquake activity fairly minimal there for now. Yeah, just it looks like a normal day out here. A little quiet on the magnitude level out here, but we'll continue to keep an eye on things. Southern California obviously getting some elevated activity. This is the 2.5. Actually, it's the whole West Coast out here. This is a 2.5 and above, so that's a little bit more earthquake activity than normal on a 24-hour period here for California. So something to watch here closely. Space weather activity. It looks like we may see some auroras for Christmas night and the day after. Let's go ahead and check out the detailed forecast here. Tonight, maybe not so much here. KP index could be up around a 4. You want something 5 or above to see something down here in the northern tier states. Now, if you're up in Alaska, or Canada, Greenland, Iceland, more than likely you'll see the common auroras out there with this setup. But tomorrow night, Christmas night, looks like we might have a little bit of lights out in the sky for the northern tier states there. And, of course, up into Canada, Alaska, and the typical regions. So that's something to look forward to for the sky watchers out there. And that's due to a CME that was blasted off here from this region right here. One of these two. Actually, they're starting to look quite active. There was a near X flare that was popped here yesterday or early yesterday morning. An M9 pointer shot off a CME in the Earth-directed view. So that is Good news for aurora watchers. And flare threat. Looks like we're starting to see a little bit of popcorn spikiness going on here on the chart. Notice that consistently popping up here from the C flare category into the M flare class. That tells me right there that we have a couple active regions there that are, well, they're complex in terms of the magnetic polarity. This image, this is a little old here. This is from that's Z time, 1224. So we're past that. We're at almost getting into 1225. So that's almost a day old. Little earthquake there on Petrolia right now. Yeah, and we're just limited with the magnetogram image right now. Everything just seems old or outdated, offline. I really miss this image right here, the colored image of the magnetic complexity here. I could really define areas of interest, and this has been offline almost a month now because of a flooding event down at the SDO at the Stanford University. So, little crazy and sad, but hopefully they get that up and running. It seems like they would have some type of fail-safe, prevention method from that happening on such sensitive equipment here. But hey, I'm not down there, so I don't know anything about it. Flare threat right now, 10% chance for X flare, M flare at 75, C flare around 99% chance or so. The proton event up around 10. And we'll see what happens here in the next couple nights far as the auroras go. Severe weather-wise, we got one system scooting off out of California. Going to linger a chance for some thunderstorms out here as the afternoon progresses here due to the daytime heating. So kind of looking for that. I almost picked up about close to an inch of rain overnight and this morning here just outside of Chico. So we're just adding on to our winter precipitation, which has been pretty decent so far. Slight chance for some severe weather out there around Texas. And, I'm pretty certain the main threat's going to be in hail. It always happens out there in Texas or Oklahoma area. Big time hail. Texas can get it done. I know personally. No tornado threat, at least less than 2% here today. A little bit of wind from those storms firing up and some hail threats. And that's due to this system here firing up around the eastern Texas area as we head into the evening time period as well. So just a heads up. That will scoot on out of there, and another low pressure system that we just got through with will fire things up a little bit later as we head deeper into the week with some more severe weather set up there as we head towards Thursday and Friday time period. Another big storm out there knocking on my door here in Northern California and the Pacific Northwest. So it looks like for Christmas Day, this is going to be about 6 p.m. Wednesday, Christmas Day. This is Z time, so I got to do the conversion here. Looks like it's going to be wet and snowy potentially out there across the Pacific Northwest. The rest of the country here, minimal. Really nothing of any major impacts out here across the country aside from the Pacific Northwest and Northern California for the Christmas night period as well. But yeah, California got a series of storm systems set to impact the area. And then after that, we got some cold weather dipping down here, altering the weather pattern. Bringing that cold weather down into California as well. Of course, that normally means drier conditions for us. And I see multiple rounds of severe weather threats here as we enter into the new year. That colder, drier air interacting with the warmer, moist air in the conversion line will create that severe weather threats. And looks like there's going to be a number of them as we head into the first week of January. So just a heads up. Massive cold air pulling down here across the eastern portion of the country. Yeah, look at that flip-flop there. High pressure out across the west coast. Jet stream bringing all that cold air down into this area. We're talking about, on this model here, it could be 24 to 28 degrees departure from average for this time of year. So, that's a lot of cold weather out there. Winter is coming in. All right, let's see what else we got here for any close approach asteroids. If we got anything heading this way, this should tell us, I would hope. And then maybe not. You never know. There's always the ones that are hiding out there. Pretty safe out here as far as anything close approach goes. Some pretty big asteroids, but they're fairly safe there to a few million miles. This one, a 43-foot bus-size asteroid, 618,000 miles here today, but that's considerably safe. All right, there's that little spike of an earthquake on Petrolia. Things look, a little spiky out there. And those little small microquakes are earthquakes nonetheless. And there's been a number of them this morning across Southern California and Petrolia. But, most of the time they're not going to report those earthquakes on the USGS map here. China Lake area would be right about here, and it's not showing up. But we are still seeing some earthquake movement out here in Southern Cal. Another one in the San Bernardino Mountains here in the last 15 minutes. So things are stressing out here on a broad scale again. Similar to, maybe not quite as much as what we had seen prior to that 7-pointer that we seen here a few weeks back. But I'm noticing that broad scale activity out here again, similar to that pattern that took place prior to that 7-pointer. So we'll keep an eye on it. Things are could get interesting today. In the meantime, folks, have a good day. Enjoy the Christmas Eve out there. And, of course, I will be back out here this evening. Rain, shine, holiday or not, I will be out here. We'll catch you guys a little bit later on this evening. Take care.